Hello, this is Soundout here, and welcome back to another Power Rangers Lightning Collection review. Today we're taking a look at the SPD Shadow Ranger. Why him exactly? Because it's the one I wanted to review next. No other reason. Anyways, this is our first time taking a look at a Ranger from the Lightning Collection, as last time we looked at Lord Zed. Now, of course, Lord Zed was one per case, so he's a hotly demanded figure. But so is Shadow Ranger, as we haven't gotten many Shadow Ranger figures over the year. In fact, I think this is only like our third one, like overall, which is kind of insane. And he's 2 per case, but I think that the 2 per case is definitely warranted, as I know there's a lot of people looking for this guy. So let's take a look and see how he is. First up, packaging wise, great artwork as always. I am really happy with these boxes. They look super nice, they're super high quality, and they keep the figures nice and safe, which is what they're supposed to do. Alright, let's get into it. So every Ranger in this line comes with an unmasked head. And for simplicity's sake, I'm going to start with the unmasked head on, even though they're packaged with the helmet on. And that's mostly just to kind of save me some trouble, because swapping heads is difficult. Now here we have, we're going to look at the Doggy Kruger head specifically, before getting him fully morphed. Now the only time in the show we do see Doggy Kruger unhelmeted is during his morph sequence. So the fact that this replicates such a small detail is pretty amazing. As, you know, it's something that, you know, when we were talking about before the line got revealed, people were like, okay, they're having unmasked heads. Is Kruger going to have one? Because he was never unmasked. This leads me to believe that we're going to get unmasked heads with everybody, which is pretty amazing. Like, this is incredible. I, of course, definitely want to see down the line a Doggy Kruger body that fits this head. This head can be reused easily. They don't have to change anything, but we could get, you know, the normal suited body would be cool too. But anyways, the really nice part about this is that it goes a step beyond what you'd expect from a normal head swap. So, taking the head off, which is like that, you notice there's a separate collar piece. This is packed in the box, away from view. But basically, you know, it's because he has a long neck in the series, so this fits to cover over the actual Ranger part of it, which is wonderful. So, honestly, probably one of the coolest head sculpts right there, just for that extra piece to cover it. But you get the helmet on, looking absolutely stunning. Stunning, not stelling. But what I was really surprised about, and this is something that didn't come up with Lord Zed, what came up with the Rangers, is that the actual torso armor here is its own separate piece, and it is squishy. This means that when you use the butterfly shoulder joints, they don't get restricted just because of the armor. Same with the torso ball joint. It's there, it moves around a little bit, which gives you range of movement and options. Also, the head, of course, is on its forward and back joint as well as a ball joint. All kinds of dynamic movement. You got the shoulders that move out, 360, a bicep swivel, the in and out butterfly joint, double joint elbow, wrists that rotate and pivot back and forth. You've got an upper ball torso hinge. You've got a forward and back ab crunch at the waist. There is no waist joint because of that, but you get that nice movement without destroying the sculpt. The hips are fully universal. They don't go back very much on him, but the thighs swivel, and you get a double joint knee, and then also on top of that, an ankle that pits forward and back, and left and right. Also, this armor piece is separate. Now, the reason for this is because if you wanted to get the ankle farther forward, you can do that now, because before it would be stuck in the way. And if you wanted to get it farther back and bend the knee more, you have that option. That option is nice, especially since I've seen something similar on that with Marvel Legends that hasn't been successful, and that's called add-on bits. For example, Marvel Legends Cyclops here, he has add-on bits that just slide and flop around if you're not careful. This actually has a practical usability, because this is something that the show suit, you know, would have limitations with, but the figure is not going to get restricted by it. So articulation's absolutely fantastic. In terms of accessories, you get his Shadow Saber, which looks excellent. It's not shorted in any way. A lot of great paint detail. It's not fully painted, like there's tiny little things like the dots in the eyes or something that's not there. But overall, it gives you enough paint to feel like satisfied. It's not just a solid piece. And he can hold it in his hand incredibly well. It's incredibly tight. And I gotta say, I'm really impressed by that. You also get this cool effect piece, which isn't reused from a Marvel Legend like I thought it would be. There's a piece that comes with characters like Magic that I thought they would reuse, but do that, and now he's got kind of a final attack sort of slash going on. Now, to accompany all this, you get an assortment of extra hands. By assortment, I mean 2. So if you pop this hand off, you get one. And by the way, the hands have like a double joint thing, which I'll show in a second, but you got kind of a wagging finger slash holding hand, and then the other hand here, so you pull it once, it comes out like that. You pull it again, it comes out. So it actually secures it doubly. So it's got 2 clicks. Then the other hand, which is for his roll call pose, when he's talking about being, you know, Doggy Kruger's Shadow Ranger. So he's got that going, which is pretty awesome. And then on top of that, to go with that would be the Morpher itself, his Patrol Morpher for Judgment. Now he holds it kind of weird, and I like that the hand is dual purpose. It's got kind of that gesturing motion, since the other hand for his left hand is a wrist or a fist. So it does do that pretty well, but it's not like he's going to be pushing the button on top. And it's always going to be in judge mode. Now, this is the thing. And I want to say this before I go into this. By the way, the belt also is a separate piece, so it doesn't hinge, to worry about that hinge. Okay, so before we get into this, I gotta say, this is absolutely the best Shadow Ranger figure we have ever gotten. It is an absolutely fantastic action figure, and the following statement should not deter you from buying this. But there are a couple things off with this guy. First up, this Morpher. Because of the way they sculpted it, I think they sculpted to the hand first. If you notice, and those of you that have this Morpher as a toy may know this, but the switch here should be on this side. But it's also indented, so basically what happened is the sculpt got flipped. Instead of it being a misprint of the label, the sculpt got flipped. In fact, if you had the printing skills, you might be able to get away with printing it on this side. But the printing essentially is in the wrong place from where all the details are compared to the back side. So essentially the printing's done wrong, and that sucks. No, not the printing, the sculpt's done wrong. The printing's fine, but the sculpt is backwards. That kind of sucks. The other thing, you can't store it in the back of his belt like you could on like the Decker Red figure art or anything like that in the show. But the only other detail missing is these should be silver for the symbols, but I think they probably ran out of paint budget because look at this line work. So, with all that out of the way, this is absolutely a phenomenal figure. Of course, he's not perfect. Guess what? Rarely are there perfect figures out in the world. But in terms of a Doggy Kruger Shadow Ranger action figure, from a collector's standpoint, I could not be happier. Finally got this character in my collection, something that Bandai of Japan didn't deliver with the figure arts, something Bandai of America didn't deliver in, you know, any of their lines except for the original SPD one, and those are incredibly outdated now. We never got to it in Legacy Collection, we never got to it even in the Super Mega Force 5-inch line, but we finally have the Shadow Ranger. Now, I know you're probably all sick of seeing this, but we're going to do a comparison lineup. Because I have done this with Lord Zed, I did this with the Beast Morphers basic figures. We need to do one last comparison now that we have an actual Ranger. So Doggy Kruger is now going to suffer through the size comparison. So, for size comparison, I'm just doing this all in one take because why not? For size comparison, Marvel Legends Bucky Cat body, this being Cyclops. Roughly the same size. We also have DC Multiverse from Mattel. Also roughly the same size, though this is the smaller Mattel body. Star Wars The Black Series is going to be roughly the same size. Again, all Hasbro. And to throw in the Bandai comparison, Bandai of America's Legacy Lord Draken, who is a little bit taller, and then Bandai's SH Figure Arts Kamen Rider Wizard. This is your comparison that's probably going to be more relevant to most Power Rangers collectors, while the others were more relevant to 6-inch action figure collectors. As you can see, Shadow Ranger is taller than Wizard, shorter than Draken. That is the end. I am not doing any more size comparisons. I hope that has cleared up anything for anybody that has been looking for a way to find out, is this going to fit with my collection? And at the end of the day, it is a new collection. It is scary to start with a new company, but if this is going to be the quality we get from Hasbro from here on out, I'm going to be a very, very happy fan. And until then, this is absolutely the best Shadow Ranger in existence. So that does it for this review. Stay tuned as I have Dino Charge Red and Mighty Morphin White, and they will be getting reviewed soon in the next few days. So hit subscribe and the notification bell so you don't miss out. Also be sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Soundout12 to find out about upcoming videos and more. And also check out Hero Club at hero-club.com for all your Power Rangers Lightning Collection news and more. Till next time, this is Soundout saying goodbye.